Hello and welcome to the CoStar News Hotels podcast. We're coming to you from day 2 of the NYU International Hospitality Investment Forum. I'm Trevor Simpson, staff writer with CoStar News Hotels, and I'm here with editorial director Stephanie Ricca and senior reporter Bryan Wroten, also CoStar News Hotels. Guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Doing all right. Thanks for asking.
How are
no
you,
problem.
Trevor?
I'm doing well.
This was your first NYU.
It was my first NYU.
Okay.
How would you rank it against the other conferences you've been to?
I can't say. You know I can't say.
All right, then I'm going to ask you the question that has been asked multiple times on stage. And Nixon, how many? I asked this with them winning the first game so far.
They haven't done anything yet. As a Knicks fan, I would say Knicks in 4 because why would I say anything less? If you want some nuance, I'll give you Knicks in 6.
It's a good rhyme, even if it means they take some
Exactly
losses.
right. It's always been Knicks in 6. Steph, any takeaways that you have from the conference now that it is all wrapped up?
From the entire conference, it's definitely, of course, this is where we boil things down into one word and a mood or a phrase or something. No, that's impossible. Things are fine. Things are good. I forget which CEO on a panel on the morning of day 2 said something like, listen, this is a resilient industry.
Yeah.
This is not the worst we have ever seen. We've seen 9/11. We've seen the Great Recession. You know, obviously the pandemic. We're fine. It's good. The industry's good. Deals are happening. And, operations chug along. There's always that question of profitability. But that's why people come to conferences like this, right? To get some tips and takeaways, to hear how other people are doing it, and potentially to make connections for deals along the way. So it's feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Bryan, what was the vibe?
I mean, the vibe, I think, definitely is Steph accurately described it there. Just we've seen first quarter do pretty well, second quarter doing well. Everyone would like the booking window to be just a smidge longer than what it actually is, just so people can actually try to plan something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the mood is pretty good. Just kind of like, yeah, we'd like things to be better, but things have been a lot worse, and people are still spending on travel.
Mm-hmm.
They're reprioritizing other things. They are changing their destinations if they need to. They're not canceling, and so it's just a matter of seeing how long that plays out. I mean, talking with a couple of folks today, they're like, yeah, we're seeing some of the potential red flags in the economic indicators, but our data also tells us something different. So
Sure.
It's just a matter of what actually is gonna
Right.
gonna
And
play out.
there's national and geopolitical trends, but then there's people who travel who tend to be people who prioritize traveling, right?
Right.
I mean, it's kind of as simple as that. I thought it was really interesting to hear Jonathan Halkyard spoke here on day 2 at NYU. He's the CFO of MGM Resorts, and I think she was a CNBC correspondent, or she asked him if he would have known that Barry Diller's company, People Inc., was going to, offer a bid to buy MGM 2 days ago, if he would have still shown up at the conference. And he said, well, it might have been a different decision, but it was good that he showed up. And I thought, he didn't talk about that potential deal, but along the lines of what you just said, Bryan, about that prioritization of travel and, seeing that happen. He talked about the mood in Las Vegas, which, of course, he's an MGM guy. He's going to say it's good, but we've seen, Las Vegas has suffered a little bit in the last year with international travel down. But he had some really good comments, interesting comments, I thought, about the state of entertainment in Las Vegas and sports. He talked about integrated entertainment in that, nobody just comes to play a show there. They will play a show, have a restaurant pop up, do a nightclub, experience, or a day club experience.
Yeah, they said Bruno Mars, who has a residency there, was only supposed to show up to the nightclub
club,
a couple of times. ended up showing up like 50 times last year, I guess.
So that's that integrated thing, which I think is a good takeaway for hoteliers all over the place. And then he talked about sports, right? Potentially becoming more important to Las Vegas than entertainment. He didn't say than gaming, but then
Right.
entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the number of professional teams it now has compared to how many it had, 10 years ago, it's significantly different.
could have an NBA team in a couple of years too. The interesting part that he mentioned was how for each sport, you're going to get people flying in to Las Vegas for a 3-day
Yeah.
weekend so they can watch their favorite team play, but also hit the casinos, do some gaming.
That was the other interesting thing. You said, like, normally, you're not going to advertise in a different city
Yeah.
to come to your city to see, the team play. But hey, if your team is playing in Vegas, maybe you want to come to Vegas and watch the team and then spend money at our places.
Oh, yeah. He said the 3-hour game becomes a 3-day weekend.
Yes. Poor Raider fans. He said it feels like road games for them in every game they play.
Right.
because
They really, they do not get used to the roar of the hometown crowd.
I suppose we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about AI a little bit.
AI.
A lot of
Have you guys
discussion.
heard of this?
Yeah.
Wait, AI? As in artificial intelligence?
That's the
I
one.
heard that's potentially a new thing for the hotel industry.
Boy, I made a comment to somebody this morning and said we should come back here in 10 years and rewatch the main stage commentary about all of the wonderful and amazing ways that this technology is going to completely transform life as we know it, and look back on those and say, okay, really?
Well, how many of the people on stage in 10 years are going to be, an AI persona?
Or they could be saying the same thing 10 years from now.
That's also true.
Because we've been hearing the same kind of takeaways
there you go.
for a few years now. And I guess we are getting some more specific examples of how AI can be utilized, but
I mean, it was very much when they would talk about it like, oh, it's going to do all this stuff. And to your point, yeah, we're actually hearing somewhat concrete
yeah.
Yes.
examples.
So, Steph, what did you hear from the conference about AI that intrigued you a little bit?
Well, on the morning of day 2 today, there was an AI specific panel on the general session, and it was Omer Akkar from Accor who talked about, and this is something that the hotel industry in general has faced with digital adoption over the years, is you find something you want to do, right?
Mhm.
And a strategy or a task, and you sort of farm out the pieces of it, maybe to different providers or different partners. He said the true success, the real revolutionary money-saving efficiency will be when hotel industry, any industry, can solve those problems with AI from start to finish, so that it's not like, oh, well, we'll work with one AI partner on the guest, the top of the funnel guest acquisition, and then we'll take it back into the hotel and do this and, finesse and da-da-da. No, he said, start to finish. That is where the real efficiency, cost savings, what we tend to hear about, if that can be executed, that'll be successful. And seems very simple, but I thought in the context of our industry it was interesting.
I mean, with AI, there's a lot of talk about what it can do to free up someone's time to handle the more necessary or the more guest-facing tasks
Mm-hmm.
and take care of the administrative or the just less desirable tasks that just have to get done but take up your time. And I that's absolutely the ideal way, I think, of doing it. But when you hear about AI taking on a larger role in anything, there's always going to be a concern about what that actually means for, a person's job. And I mean, hotels are businesses. They're always going to look for ways to try to save on costs where they can, because they have to have, they have to be profitable to run. But that's just the kind of thing I feel like they really got to thread that needle very well to do it, because and then one of the things I heard is like, yeah, we want to do it the right way, and we don't want to implement it in a way that is going to make the guest experience worse, which is absolutely a possibility when you're still experimenting with it and figuring it out. I was talking with Greg Keneally at Peregrine Hospitality, who said that like if AI messes up a memo that for me, we can fix that. But if something happens and it's guest facing, that's a bigger problem to fix.
Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, we need to make no bones about it. And I think others speaking about it should too. This is going to eliminate jobs.
Yeah.
This is going to take jobs away and out of the equation.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You would like for these executives to be a little more upfront about it, because you've heard year in, year out, people get up on the stage and say, this is not going to take jobs away. And I've said from the start, I don't buy it.
And it may not be like we're laying off, X percentage of employees to do this. It'll more like, well, we're just not going to replace.
Well, and it's like Chris Nassetta, the CEO of Hilton, said on the day one CEO panel, he said, if I look at my company, in total, jobs on a piece of paper 10 years ago, people's job titles, responsibilities, and so on were so much different than they are now, even if their overall, say, corporate headcount is still the same. So I think we have to think about it not so much, we're conflating jobs with headcount.
Right.
And
True.
I think AI will eliminate headcount,
Yeah.
which in any industry, that's going to happen. But where we'll see it is in the changing of jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be a little harder to see internally. Where we'll notice it more is in the guest facing
exactly roles. One slip up, it's like when the robots at the front desks were all the kind of the fun buzz. People would talk about hotels in Japan that had a robot at the front desk.
Oh, the dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah, all it takes is one
dinosaur eating a child.
One boo-boo and you're kind of it kind of goes on the back burner for 5 years.
Thank you for tuning in. For Steph and Bryan, Trevor Simpson signing off from New York.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm STR's Isaac Colazo.
And I'm CoStar's Jan Freitag. And together we are the data geeks behind Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast work.
Every month, we bring you a fresh take on the latest hotel data, insights into the travel trends behind that performance, and the big picture topics you should be thinking about.
And we also don't mind getting into some good-natured disagreement from time to time. Hey, when Isaac and I start talking data together, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen.
This episode of the CoStar News Hotels podcast was recorded on June 2nd, 2026 at the NYU International Hospitality Investment Forum by Meredith Sheridan and edited for podcast by Bryan Wroten. Head to CoStar.com/hotel news for more coverage from that event and more. You can find all our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your platform of choice. Thanks for listening.